back, everybody, to the Dice Tower's live coverage here at GAMA 2017. Sitting with me right now is John Rott, with an exclamation point, from Gatekeeper Games. So welcome, John.
Thank you, Suzanne, for having me.
It's been so long since I've seen you.
I know, it's several minutes or seconds at least.
Well, thanks for coming and visiting us. I know that you brought a game and some other little things to look at, right?
Yeah, some pretty dice. We'll talk about those afterward.
I love pretty dice, but let's take a look at this awesome game.
All right, so this game is called A.D.A.P.T. It's a mashup style card and dice game for 2 to 3 players, where you take mutant fish and then you battle to the death. All right.
All right.
So it's an absolute blast. So at the start of each game, you start with a humble guppy fish, like you can see here on the box cover, and that would be in the center of your body. We don't have time to set the whole thing up, but we'll go through like a kind of speed version.
Sure, great.
Here.
Let's take a look.
So inside the box, you have 3 whole sets of dice that are color coded to the guppies. Okay, so you got your green, your blue, and your red. And you're going to use those as your leveling mechanism. So as your fish gets more powerful, you use a more powerful die for your attack. So you start with the D4, and then you'll jump to a D6, and then D8, D10, D12, and then you use the alternate D10 for percent chance that you'll have a status effect occur. You might have like a 2 in 10 chance of getting a certain effect.
Okay.
And the D20s are used to track your experience, which is the currency in the game, in order to buy parts from the gene stream.
Okay, so what are these effects? Like, let's get into it.
So we're gonna put a body on there. I'll just kind of go through here and pull out some things, so we can end up with a great white shark with the mouth of an orca, and we'll see what we get with the horn of a marlin, with the dorsal fin of a sailfish. With increased poison ability. We could replace the increased poison ability with lungs if we prefer.
Making the creature amphibious.
Amphibious, yes.
And honestly, if a shark with an orca head and a marlin horn came up onto land, I would be terrified.
Yeah, yeah. The fun thing is every single one of the cards are based on real fish or fish-like aquatic beings.
It looks quite
Dolphins
realistic.
are close enough. So, and then you can put poisonous lionfish side fins on the skin of a clownfish. So you got a great white shark that looks like a clownfish, so it sneaks up on you. You have no idea what's about to happen to you. Increase the quantity of its cartilage, and heck, let's give it a dolphin tail for speed. Okay?
Wow.
So this is just one fish, one player map. So you're gonna have your own.
Yep.
And the deck's gonna sit in the middle between us, all right? And the cards are gonna flow down the gene stream. And we're going to use that experience-based currency to draft cards from the gene stream and upgrade. Say, you know what, I'm tired of the clownfish thing. That's only level 1 and only costs 2 experience. Let's jump to a level 2 skin. Let's cover myself in orca blubber so I'm harder to kill. All right, so you can replace those parts and adapt them and upgrade your body. Now I'm doing the same thing, you're doing the same thing, but we're sharing the deck, and every card in the deck is unique. So whatever I buy, you can't, and whatever you buy, I can't.
And I'm sorry, so every card in the deck is unique?
Every card.
How many unique things are there in this deck?
80.
Wow. Okay,
80.
so there's a ton of traits to mix and match. Okay.
Yes, exactly. So it's 2 to 3 players, and so it gets even more complicated when there's 3 players because everybody's trying to steal each other's stuff, and I want to do this. Okay, well you're bioelectric, so I'm going to get orca blubber and all this sort of stuff that cancel and counter, and try to negotiate how you're best going to do that. So you're not only adapting your fish the whole game, you're also adapting your strategy because you think you're going to try something, and then Suzanne goes and steals the dolphin nose, so you can't get your RAM bonus.
You know me so well. I would never do that. Okay.
So that's A.D.A.P.T. in a nutshell.
That's really cool. Now, one uncommon thing about A.D.A.P.T. is the player count. That is 2 to 3 players.
Yeah.
So was that just kind of like, who cares about 4? Who cares about or like what was the thought behind 2 to 3 players?
That's a great question. I try to make everything as authentic to the original idea that I've created it for. So people look at the box cover sometimes and they joke and they're like, fish, John. Fish? Couldn't you have like zombie parts or Cthulhu building or like giant robots? I designed the idea inside with fish in this game that would play in a smaller group, 2 to 3 player kind of filler. It's a medium weight filler to play in 20 to 40 minutes sort of thing. And I was like, no, I'm going forward with the fish, and I don't want to break the mechanics and the balance of the game to try to include that 4th player. If we want to do that, we can do that with expansions. And we do have expansions that are available to upgrade it all the way up to 6 players. And that's like Battle Royale, and you can do team play, that sort of thing. We call it Kingfish. So it's kind of like Magic the Gathering and Emperor, where you have one person sitting at the head of the table, and they have like their 2 guardians, and you have to kill their guardian fish before you can get to the kingfish. So
a lot more mechanically going on.
Yes. Yeah.
Now, A.D.A.P.T, what's the MSRP on that?
It is $39.99.
And that is in stores now.
That is in stores right now.
Now, some people might say $39.95 for a card game, but I'd like to point out that now these dice all come in it, and these dice are gorgeous. And you have some pretty standard dice that you could use for other things.
Correct.
Right.
Yep.
You want to talk to me a little bit about these dice, because now with the game you also get all these amazing dice, and those dice are something else that you've got going on.
Correct. So we'll talk about the details of these dice in a moment, but there are 3 of these dice cases that we're about to talk about. There's 3 full sets of polyhedral dice inside of A.D.A.P.T, and these MSRP at $12 each. So you're getting $36 worth of dice inside of your game, and then for $4 you get a game too. So,
Gotcha.
so that's pretty awesome.
So let's take a quick look at
Sure.
the Halfies. Okay.
All right. So these are Halfies dice. They're full polyhedral sets. Let's start with this one. This is one of my favorites. Okay.
So pretty. Oh,
I know. So these are called Psionic Combat. I'll put them on the table so you can see them against the black there.
And you should bring them over so they can look at them a little closer up on the other camera later.
Okay, fantastic. So they're a nice half and half design. That's why we call them halvesies. They're 15% denser than the other dice that you're familiar with on the market. The leading competitor. We love those guys. We buy their dice too, but we made our dice more dense. The half and half design actually helps us to eliminate air bubbles. So they're actually they're a more dense, satisfying roll and a more balanced roll also. And we have a massive line of tons of different colors. I'll just dump them all out real fast so you can see them.
So a lot of color combos. They do feel great. They feel very polished, very high quality. And then obviously through your manufacturing process, you've done some things that you feel like has even notched up the quality of kind of standard.
If you're going to jump into the dice market, you can't just show up with dice. They're like, okay, these dice are authentically outstanding.
Well, awesome. Yeah. John, thank you so much for spending some time with us.
Suzanne.
I really appreciate it. It's always nice to see you.
Yep.
Thank you, everybody, for watching.
Thanks for watching,
and we'll
everyone.
see you soon. Bye.